running a little short on time. We'll go quickly to questions in the audience, and we can start.
Yeah. I love actually, anyone can answer this question, or maybe multiple people want to. But Cogent said they saw a plateauing of traffic Q1, and this is, there are tier one ISPs, probably smaller than other ones, but they have an interesting view on the networks. But it sounds like everyone else is seeing strong traffic growth. I was just for you to maybe comment on that.
I'll make a quick comment. I think what you're seeing is a further flattening of relationships within the internet itself. I think that the dominance of the tier 1s and the tier 2s, as particularly in the United States, exchange points continue to grow and get stronger. The need for people to go to a tier 1 and a tier 2 may not be what it was a year and a half or 2 years ago. And I think that Cogent may continue to grow traffic. They may plateau. I don't know what Cogent is going to do. But I can tell you that the velocity of cross connects and the velocity of connections that we are putting in are not going down in the least.
I would agree. I mean, Q1 we saw the greatest number of cross connects that we've added. The majority are IP based, and that volume has trended the same for Q2. So I don't see any slowdown. I was actually at the conference where Coach mentioned that. And I think part of it is just as John said, is you can see some spikes up and down, but clearly we have not seen any slowdown from anything that's happening in the global economy. In fact, we're seeing more folks, whether it be carriers or enterprises, coming to facilities like carrier hotels to outsource more of their CompTIA and IT infrastructure in a facility, and have not seen the impact from it.
Based on that question, though, is it a possibility, too, that people are just taking this business more seriously? So maybe they are using more power and more rack space for what they would have used less previously? Does that make sense at all? Right now, I thought I could get away with 50 servers to run this application, but now it's more of a real business, so maybe I'm going to put 100 and I'm going to do...
We could ask Doug that question. I mean, he's one of the largest CDNs in the world.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people are waking up and realizing they should have woken up a while back, so we're all scrambling like a bat out of hell. And it's hard because really the power is the real big issue, and it takes years to build a building. And Microsoft had a chance to buy distressed assets from MFN back in the day. We chose not to. Why would we want to do that? That doesn't look good on a spreadsheet. Well, now we know. We pay $600 million to build these 10 megawatt jobs, and there's several of them going on right now.
Like 50 megawatts now you guys are building.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine that baseline power is 50 megawatts, utilities getting delivered.
So my only point there maybe is that you guys are maybe growing faster than the actual bandwidth need, because people are getting more serious, is my only point. What I would have done with a certain deployment before, I won't do now. I want more space and more power to make that happen.
The bandwidth's still growing.
I understand that. I'm just saying not as fast as maybe you guys are.
Maybe not, but you also have to look at Cogent. Cogent's a little bit different provider. They're in the tier 1 stack, sort of. That's a really complex argument, but
People are 1.5.
Yeah, 1.5. Yeah, 0.99 like tier 1, But the argument there is who they buy from, maybe or maybe not. But you see Cogent posturing now already. They've reduced their pricing down to $4 and $5 a meg for $4 a meg for a full 10 gig committed port. Now that pricing pressure affects Level 3 and AT&T, who have a lot more eyeballs. Cogent, their ratios must be like 10 to 1 content to eyeballs. I mean, there's no eyeballs. So there's all kinds of issues that correlate with that. So Cogent having a flattening of traffic doesn't really make me worried or nervous or upset, because it's a very different animal. If Level 3 or AT&T start having a flattening of traffic, then everybody start questioning it. Is that a big economic downturn? How's that affecting things? But I think our business is just going to rocket, and from Europe, South America, Asia, US, everywhere, it's just going. There's no stop to it right now.
We had one interesting event a while back that one of the large cable television companies turned up appearing on the NE2 exchange, and we have pretty much every large CDN in the United States is a member of the NE2 exchange. And when this multi-million eyeball company in Southern California turned up their port, I could have sworn that the lights dimmed in Wilshire, because the amount of data that got sucked into that port was, the spike was amazing. So I think that traffic is not getting any smaller.
It's history.
That's good,
I'm sorry.
I think our carrier hotels are built mainly with the speed minimums to get
best competitive prices in this area, and therefore carriers do switch and swap their interconnections very fast from one provider to the other. And so if one provider has a flattening of its traffic, most probably his business dealing with the customers, with the end customers, is not good enough to compete with the others. So that's what we are doing. We are offering them flexibility, interconnectivity very, very fast. So for them, they swap and switch over to other carriers which are giving them the better price.
One last question, and Shrihar is sitting here giving me the same answer.
So I guess just to follow up to that question, if we assume as a given that internet traffic is growing the way everybody knows it is, and maybe there are tier 1 carriers, or large carriers at least, that are starting to see a drop in transit growth, does that imply that the carrier hotel model is potentially destroying the tiered internet, if you will? And what does that mean for us long term?
I can jump right into that one. So the carrier hotel model, all we do is facilitate interconnection. We have nothing to do with leveraging, that defeating of that model. The internet is controlled by two simple things: content and eyeballs. There's stuff in between, but it's all fluff. It's content and eyeballs. So Dougie's got the content. He's got MSN, he's got Hotmail, he's got software updates because there's bugs and things like that.
Features.
Yeah, features. Those are features. Yes. And then you got guys like say AT&T, who've gobbled up so many eyeballs that they control so much. If you're the user at home trying to get to that content, that's it. That's the controlling factor. So pricing leverage is based on AT&T's value to sell to an enterprise and say, we're the biggest, baddest network in the world with the most amount of eyeballs, and we have the best peerings, and which is hardly peer, but we give you the best access to everything. And then you have sub-tier guys fighting to get that business. All we do is simply go click and
So
facilitate.
certainly if an enterprise shows up at your facility and peers with MSN, that traffic just went away from the tier 1 carrier.
Yeah, but an enterprise, it's have to be a Procter & Gamble peering with a Google or Microsoft. And Microsoft has an open policy, and they certainly would, and Procter & Gamble has an AS number. It's a blip on the internet. Now, if somebody like an Akamai who probably pushes 15% of the content on the internet, or YouTube is 10%, well, there's 25% two guys, right? And then Dougie's a huge percentage too, as well. I mean, there's a bunch of content. There's Yahoo and all these other guys, and a bunch of eyeballs, and those are the players, and everybody else in business is sporting around in between all of that. It's very simple formula, it really is. There's probably 200 peering coordinators in the world that run the internet. 200 guys. That's it. Very interesting world. I didn't want to hog that, sorry guys.
You're all great. You're all great. All set. Okay. I think that does it for us. Thank you for the participation.